Children in Haiti are being attacked, raped, shot at, recruited and exploited by armed gangs. Since the assassination of President Jovenel Moise in 2021, gangs have continued to gain control in that country, reigning over a large part of the capital and leaving people there living in terror. Amnesty International calling now on the international community to act fast to protect the children who are facing wide-scale traumatic abuse. We can speak now to Senior Crisis Advisor at Amnesty International, Rawya Rageh. Thanks so much for your time and joining us here. This report that has been published by Amnesty International, really a harrowing reading on many levels. What's the main thing that Amnesty has learned?
In our visit to Port-au-Prince in September of last year, we were able to interview more than 50 children, and their testimonies really highlighted to us beyond the specific abuses that we documented, including the recruitment and use of children, the widespread sexual violence, the killing and injuries, the impact on children with disabilities, we could really sense how the widespread gang violence was essentially amounting to an overwhelming assault on childhood itself. Practically every aspect of children's lives has been interrupted. Children describe to us how they are unable to walk to school, unable to even play on their streets, to step outside their house. And so that extent of interruption of daily life, the fear, the sense of compulsion, and how children have been robbed of their innocence really came through in those interviews.
Can you give us an idea of the size of these armed gangs that are threatening these children and how they're threatening them?
There are hundreds of different gangs across the metropolitan area. At times, they have engaged in alliances and coordinated their attacks on the capital, like we have seen in early 2024. At times, there's infighting between those groups. At times, they are fighting against the police and authorities and the international multinational security force that was deployed. And they are essentially, children are caught in the middle of all of that. We had spoken to children who were used by gangs to run errands, to carry weapons. We've spoken to girls as young as 14 who were sexually assaulted at times more than once, at times by more than one man. We've spoken to children who lost limbs, or families of children who were killed as a result of these attacks. And the reality is that it was so shocking to see how the violence has become normalized for these children, almost expected. But it has also been very clear to us that the children, the message from the children is that this should not be the end of their story. They've described to us that there are things that can improve their situation, including restoring their access to education and access to livelihood for their families in the gang-controlled areas. And it's incumbent on Haitian authorities and the international community to make that a reality for those children, instead of perceiving Haiti as sort of an unsolvable problem, so to speak.
And the situation on that front today, I mean, how much support is there for that kind of help to Haiti?
We spoke to various child protection actors, members of the civil society in Haiti, government officials who are at the forefront of trying to address children's needs and work on child protection issues, including agencies within the government, as I mentioned. And they are essentially operating under really extremely difficult circumstances. They need financial support from the government. They need technical and financial assistance from the international community. And of course, the aid is dwindling. There's massive concern about the dwindling amount of aid, even before the recent announcement by the United States to freeze certain funds. By the end of 2024, the UN humanitarian response plan was only funded by roughly 40%. UNICEF, for example, was reporting a gap of more than 70% in the amount of money it needs to respond to children's needs and provide life-saving assistance. So the reality is that there's a lot of concern, a lot of talk about the situation in Haiti, but we're not seeing concrete action in providing this crucial technical and financial assistance to Haitian authorities and to the Haitian civil society.
And the dwindling funds to Haiti, is that because donations are being made in other parts of the world, or is it just in general a less generous earth?
Combination of things, really. It has transpired to us in our interviews that there is definitely a sense from international donors that they view Haiti from a lens of being a country that is in perpetual crisis, so to speak, that there are constantly natural disasters or political instability and questions around, are there going to be partners for us to work with in Haiti? And the reality is those partners do exist in the Haitian civil society, in various entities, technocrats within the government, irrespective of issues at the high level of the cabinet, who are doing a lot of work and who need that assistance. NGOs are at the forefront of providing this humanitarian aid, whether international NGOs or local NGOs. That burden cannot be on them. The Haitian authorities have a responsibility, and they should actively seek that international assistance. They should actively prioritize child protection, come up with a child protection plan, address festering impunity, which is only perpetuating cycles of violence and allowing and labeling this violence. And the international community should really act instead of just express concern in Security Council meetings and ensure support to Haitian police and, as I mentioned, to the very active child protection actors who have a plan, who have a structure, but are unable to implement this programming, especially, for example, when it comes to the reintegration and rehabilitation of children associated with gangs.
Rawya Rageh, we'll have to leave it there, but thanks so much for joining us here on France 24. Very much appreciated.